So I keep hearing from people about the DOGE cuts not being codified or included in the big, beautiful bill. And on the surface, anyone would agree that's a problem. I want these cuts now. Who doesn't? Democrats. The fraud, waste, and abuse does have to stop. Today, we're going to discuss why things aren't as easy as they make them all seem, and we've got a few clips that show that Elon and Trump aren't seeing eye to eye on things, especially this bill and DOGE. And it looks like Putin and Trump's relationship is a bit rocky now. Oh, and AOC forgets who some of her big donors are. All that and more in today's Kort Report. So when it comes to codifying these DOGE cuts or implementing them into law, the part that the people don't realize is that the reason that a lot of them can't be included in the big, beautiful bill is because of the budget reconciliation process. And they use this to bypass Senate filibusters. To codify the DOGE cuts, they would need to engage in a separate rescission process, which needs to happen now. Not just that, the Senate Byrd Rule prevents reconciliation bills, which this bill is, from including anything that affects spending beyond the budget window, which in this case is 10 years, and typically is. So I guess reorganizing entire agencies doesn't fall into the frame of a reconciliation bill. Why hasn't the White House submitted a formal rescission package? We have to remember that DOGE's unilateral actions are under legal scrutiny, and formalizing this now could jeopardize all of DOGE's efforts that have impounded over $400 billion. So here's Elon's thoughts on the big, beautiful bill, and then we have Trump's reaction to it.
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the DOGE team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on DOGE gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
Mr. President, Elon Musk in a television interview criticized the one big, beautiful bill, saying he was disappointed it didn't cut enough, essentially, that it undercut the DOGE efforts. What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes. We can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support. And we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was, we have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that. But we'll have a 65% increase as opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and, it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune have done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. They'll let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murderers, drug dealers, the mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions all over the world, not South America, all over the world. They're coming into our country, and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us, and it's tough enough. They approved that. They allowed that to happen to our country. We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill, and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax increase. And they're only doing it for hatred. They're not doing it for any reason. They know it's terrible. Terrible politics, in my opinion. But so we have no Democrat votes. That means we have to get almost all Republican votes. And I think we're very close to doing that. I think it'll be very successful. Yeah, please.
So it seems that Trump doesn't think the bill is perfect, but he's emphasizing how these tax cuts are worth a temporary deficit. He says in the beginning how they need to get a lot of votes, so he understands how careful they have to be, because losing just a few votes of their narrow majority could jeopardize the entire thing. And let's be honest, a lot more of the moderate Republicans fear they won't be reelected if they go all out on things like the DOGE cuts. So I think Trump knows this and is taking a compromise in order to give a tax cut to the American people, regardless of it being an imperfect bill. Trump appears to want to compromise to get something on the books. And this leads into today's Kort's Call-Out. And today I'm calling out AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You know, I even get letters from Republicans all the time who support me because I don't take corporate money.
Oh, so she doesn't take corporate money, huh? And a big shout out to Nate Big on TikTok for sharing this. It's funny, you can tell just by the way she said it that she knew what she was saying was a lie.
You know, I even get letters from Republicans all the time who support me because I don't take corporate money.
That sounded about as confident as Kamala Harris during any unscripted interview she's ever had. Credit to Nate Big on that. Go ahead and follow him on TikTok. It also looks like President Trump and Putin are at odds. He's saying Putin is going crazy.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
So I think this shows that Trump does want this war to end, and it seems like he's getting very impatient, and Putin is going all in. Trump's now calling Putin absolutely crazy, claiming he's got a deal to end the Ukraine war. So what's going on? Well, some might speculate that Putin's ramping up attacks, just as ceasefire talks loom as a strategy in escalating to gain leverage, trying to weaken Zelensky's resolve before negotiations. Sources report 50,000 troops massing near Sumy for a so-called buffer zone. This isn't madness, it's Putin playing hardball. He wants Zelensky demoralized at the table. What's going to happen? We'll have to wait and find out. Well, folks, thanks for joining the first episode of the Kort Report, and I will see you next time.